Hi, I'm Jeff Burry, and I would like to welcome you to today's tour. As you can see, this will not be your normal tour. We are, unfortunately, in the middle of a pandemic, and campus was recently almost overrun by a wildfire. So, what I'd like to do today is offer you a short tour of campus, its facilities, and the department, so that for those of you who cannot make it here, we'll have a sense of what things are really like up here on campus and what things might be like when you get here. So join me for our tour and for a short discussion. Thanks. Well, while we can't be together today, we can most certainly take a tour together in virtual space. So I'd like to take you on a short tour of campus facilities, starting at the beginning of campus, the entrance, one of the entrances to campus, and we'll examine some of the facilities, some of the graduate student areas, the library, and a few other locations. Now, if you haven't ever been here before, you should probably note that it's an extremely beautiful campus, but that it actually was built on top of an old lime quarry. While all the buildings today are located on top of that old quarry, it's also covered with secondary redwood forest, rolling hills, and a fabulous view of the Pacific Ocean. And we also have our own campus farm, which is located here. So let's go on our tour. First thing you have to decide is whether or not you want to ride your bike or walk. There are lots of cars you can also drive. I, of course, recommend riding your bike. Well, there are lots of benefits to riding your bike around campus. A few of them include you get there really fast. You can enjoy the ride back down. You don't have to pay to park, which actually costs on a daily basis. And you get some exercise. All of those are really good things. Well, if you do need to drive a car, coming down to campus facilities is where your best options are for getting parking permits, police, and public safety. Campus also has amazing facilities for exercise. That would be your gym, which you can join as a graduate student, tennis courts, places to play football, soccer, frisbee golf, swimming pool. And perched up on all these hills, beautiful views of the Pacific Ocean. Now, the other place you're going to find yourself here is in the plaza with the graduate student commons, coffee shops, and restaurants, which are sprinkled around campus, but the graduate student commons you'll find yourself hanging out in. So the other place you're going to spend a lot of time is in the library, which is currently closed, but is not located too far away from the building. And when you're riding around campus, you're going to see lots of wildlife, like this deer just ran in front of me. More deer over here. They're not all that afraid of us. Lots of owls. Some mountain lions, perhaps. Lots of coyotes. However, I should point out, as a biker, there are a lot of hills. If you're coming up from the base of campus, you'll want to figure out the fastest way to get to our buildings, which are, in fact, right in front of me. You'll also have really amazing trips to get to our building, like this giant bridge that drops very far down into the gully here. So about mid-canopy height for a redwood. And if you're wondering where George Lucas got a lot of his ideas, you might think to yourself, maybe UC Santa Cruz. Well, the heart of Science Hill is actually right next to the Science and Engineering Library. Sciences buildings and laboratories, brick plaza, and two buildings that we work in, Natural Sciences 2 right here, and the Interdisciplinary Sciences Building, or ISB as we like to refer to it, here. So if you're entering, you could casually come into the foyer courtyard. And first you have to get to the top. 4 floors every day, all the time. Which is not always fun, but really it's not that much. Now in the 4th floor you have the graduate student outdoor lounge and or convalescence center. So on the 4th floor you're going to find it's a bit confusing. In fact, it just goes around and around. Some of our faculty members are still in the building every once in a while. But the 2 things you want to remember is that the elevator is kind of the heart of interdisciplinary sciences building, and that all the offices are located very close to the main core, including the undergraduate, graduate advising, the graduate student patio lounge, and or outside space, and walking all the way to the end of the hall, a place where you will soon find yourselves located on the wall with all of the other graduate student pictures, which is right next to the graduate advisor's office. Well, the other thing to remember about the 4th floor is it has all of our meeting rooms and facilities. I pointed out a few of them to you, but it has our teaching classrooms on the 4th floor, which includes the GIS lab, which also has an instructional facility. Well, one of the most important rooms in all of the department is the mail room. The mail room has all of the copying facilities, mailroom facilities, a computer, and each and every one of you will have your own mailbox over on that wall. Makes you a little dizzy. Maybe I should go back this way so that you get less dizzy. Now, it's important to remember the buildings are attached. Interdisciplinary Sciences and ISB. The way you can tell the difference between the two is that suddenly you enter the concrete jungle in Natural Sciences too. Now, as you're walking around Natural Sciences too, you notice that all the offices and labs are located down very long hallways within a loop. And along the sides are where all the graduate student faculty offices and lounges are, and on the inside is where all the wet labs and other facilities can be found. So while walking around the department could actually make you get lost on a regular basis, there are 2 rooms that are really important. The first one is the break room. In ISB, now this has your eating, caffeine / food storage options, lots of cool maps. At the very end of the Natural Sciences corridor, you'll also find another graduate student lounge, computer room, health and recreation center. I don't actually have a key to this one, so you will have to get one for yourself when you get here and enjoy the benefits of recreation and leisure for a few minutes. Now, you will likely be able to find faculty on campus when we're all allowed to come back on campus because we all like our offices. Now, they're kind of scattered about the building, and your office will also be scattered somewhere around the building. What I wanted to point out is the door open here. Everything needs a key, and you'll need to get lots of keys issued to you, codes for everything. It's a lot of things to remember, but not too hard. That once you get into the side offices, etc., they're actually nice places for us to live and work and hang out and meet with graduate students and talk about various things. And it will be up to you to essentially set up your own space as well when we get to that time. Well, after a busy day, oftentimes you'll want to walk back down the 4 floors, and you'll get to walk past our picture tree frog, which was actually donated by Franz Lanting, a famous outdoor photographer. One of the reasons you'll want to ride your bike around this campus is there's an amazing view anything, particularly in the Pacific Ocean. So riding down through the Great Fill, which I'm just sort of circling around, is amazing. You got music buildings right here, Chancellor's House, and then the Great Fill with bike paths on both sides. Pacific Ocean, Monterey Bay. Or if you don't ride your bike, at least walk around when you get a chance to visit UC Santa Cruz campus.